coherently,
Yeah.
if I know what I'm talking about, which means I need to read this and I need to read this thing.
Right, but if you understand the facts of what happened today, I never contacted him.
We understand that, but if he came in here today, you would have had contact.
No, I wouldn't, because having contact with him would mean speaking to him. It doesn't say...
You knew that he had an appointment today.
No, I didn't. I called... I'm not interfering. If this is absolutely ridiculous. I could show you every single statement that I wrote of what he is doing, and again, I didn't...
Hold on a second.
I didn't do that. I'll play you the recorded call.
See this?
I understand that. And
so if he's telling me that...
how am I interfering with him by showing up to my child's appointment? Tell me how that's interfering with him. I have every right by law to all the medical records. I have every right by law to see my kid. I never lost my parental rights, ever. Right, she is my daughter.
It may be looked at that if you know
it's not be looked at.
He's with an appointment.
Listen to me.
And you show up on that.
I did not.
You can come here on any time you want to get medical records. You understand
Excuse me. I'd like to have a chance to be heard, please. I have ADHD. Sometimes it's hard for me to explain things. I'd like you guys to give me a reasonable accommodation and listen to me. I also have PTSD. You know how many, go ask Orange how many times I rewrote statements about him violating the order with video evidence of him talking to me outside the app, and they wouldn't arrest him. And you guys are sitting here trying so hard to find a way to get me in trouble when I did nothing wrong. But can you just hear me out? Can you just listen? Okay.
So we understand.
I told you what it says. It says literally word for word what I said. I memorized it. I recited it to you. It says it right there. I want you to understand something, both of you, please, because it's keep halfway, one person walks away. I received a phone call at 9:45 a.m. this morning from Connecticut Children's Medical Center. I spoke to them for 2 minutes. They said to me that due to the father's arrest and the child's subsequent being seen and evaluated at St. Mary's Hospital on the 8th of October, which was 2 Sundays ago, that now there's a sexual assault. There's now a sexual assault investigation that has started, DCF investigation that has started, and the Waterbury police are actively investigating it. It's an open investigation now. My daughter was taken to the hospital, and now I got this phone call today, Connecticut Children's. They said they needed to make an appointment for her to go to SCAN, which is their Suspected Child Abuse Network clinic.
Okay.
I made an appointment. Please, let me finish. I made this appointment. They called me. They said, hi, we're here to make an appointment for your daughter. I said, okay. I made it for next week, which was, I booked it in my calendar, Tuesday at 1 o'clock. I put it down, the address, everything like that. Then I called Preferred Pediatrics. 1 minute later, I called Preferred Pediatrics. I talked to them on the phone for 7 minutes, 9:47 a.m. I said, I'd like to know, I just wanted to confirm, when is my child's appointment? Matt booked this October appointment back in June. So she was supposed to be seen. When she was taken to the hospital in May, they told her in the discharge paperwork, you need to be seen by Dr. Casey at Preferred Pediatrics no later than 5/31/23. I faxed them all that information. They have it. They confirmed that they got it. And so Matthew refused to take her. It says it in her chart that he called and he canceled her appointment again on June 9th. So he was not letting my child be evaluated or seen by the doctor. He refused to let her go to the doctor since May. She hasn't gone to the doctor since the ER visit when they had to kick his door down and arrest him to give my kid medical attention because he's refusing. So then, like I said, I called Pediatrics because now that SCAN made this appointment, I wanted her pediatrician.
Well, can I just jump in quick?
Wait, can you finish, please?
Let me tell you about SCAN.
Yeah. What?
They're a state agency?
No, it's through Connecticut Hartford Children's Hospital.
Let me tell you who's up here above all of us.
No, I don't
Let me just tell you. I'm going to tell you so you understand.
Okay.
There's a guy called a judge.
No, I understand that.
Let me just understand. He has precedence over us.
Yeah.
You.
And you guys say all the time you can't enforce family court orders, right? Police always say, do you guys enforce family court orders?
He has precedence over these people.
No, but
if
this
a judge. Let me tell
we
you.
haven't been in front of a judge. We haven't been in front of a judge. I know, but I asked if you guys could hear me out, please. I didn't even get to finish. I keep getting interrupted.
We're getting to irrelevant territory.
It's not irrelevant. This is about today. These people said I showed up here and it's a lie, and I want to press charges. I want to be clear.
Okay, so our decision, if you don't want to listen to me, is that you shouldn't be here because that's what a judge said. Right. End of story. I don't care who called you. I don't care who called you. I don't care what case Waterbury has on. The judge did not change the orders. The judge didn't alter anything. So that's what stands. What the judge said in family court.
I'm just asking for you to please hear me out because I was never told by.
There's nothing to hear out.
I was never told in family court, and there's nothing in any order. There's nothing in any order that says I can't.
Did you go back to family court and say my husband is abusing my kid?
We have an appointment. We have a court date. I filed it, and the court date is Monday.
So they haven't changed the order.
We haven't gone to court. It's Monday. It's coming up. Next week.
So then what?
Next week there's 3 court dates.
Then what was?
And he has court for his arraignment tomorrow.
What came out? Listen to me. This is how it works. I'm just trying to explain.
I know, but I asked if you guys would let me speak.
What came out of the last court date is what holds.
Okay, so and like I said, on the last court date, I have the transcript. You guys don't have it there. I would be happy to email it to you right now if you like, so you can see it. It's signed by a court reporter under oath. It says in there the judge...
So you're telling me June isn't the last one?
I'm telling you the transcript of that court date, the last court date. And in that transcript, the judge says...
But this is the civil order that's in place.
It's still... If a judge makes a verbal order and it's on the record and it's on a transcript, that still is an order by the judge. She told him on that day, on the record in court, and it's on the transcript, you need to let your ex see your daughter regularly. You need to give her a schedule so she knows when she's seeing the child, and when your child knows when she's seeing her mother. You can't not let her see her mother.
Then, the issue is today is that there's a possible order violation.
So right, and that's back to this, because you guys keep not letting me tell you what happened, right? I called them at this time at 9:47. I said, hi, I just wanted to double check, when does my child have her appointment? I knew it was sometime the end of October. I couldn't remember the date. And so I called to ask them, and they said to me, oh, it's actually today at 11:30. And this was at 9:47 a.m. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I said, I spoke to Dr. Casey, who is the doctor who's supposed to see my daughter. I spoke to her like a month ago, like 3-4 weeks ago, about getting the records that I need, because the court wanted records from them. They told me to take her to the ER back in May. I listened to them. Then the court tried to say that was a bad decision and use it against me. Preferred Pediatrics.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You don't. They don't have precedence over what a judge says.
I'm saying to you, I came here.
I don't have precedence.
This is a public place. This is a public place. No.
And if a judge tells you don't come here,
no judge told me not to come here. No judge ever told me not to come here.
He says you're not supposed to interfere. And
what do you mean? Wait a second. I came here. I asked them. I called them up in advance.
You shouldn't be calling them up. And you
I shouldn't be calling my child's doctor? Where does it say that?
You're interfering.
Wait a second. Me calling my child's doctor, which I have the legal right to have to speak to, I was told by them I can come here anytime I want to get these records. I spoke to them ahead of time, 2 hours before the appointment. I said, hey, I would like to come. Is that okay? She says, yes, no problem. That's fine. She says it's fine.
She doesn't know there's a full no contact.
It's not a full no contact that says I cannot go to my child, or it's not a full contact, no contact.
You're not allowed to talk to him.
And so how does me being at my daughter's appointment violate a no contact against the father?
Well, how do you think your daughter's getting here?
It doesn't say 100-yard stay away. That box is not checked. He said to me, when you guys hear on the phone, full no contact, it means everything's checked off. This one was not. It was not a full 100-yard stay away. And so I could be, if I'm standing right next to you like this.
They didn't personally talk, but they would have if he came in.
How would we personally talk? How would we have talked?
If you're in here and he comes in here, you guys aren't going to talk when he has your kid?
Wait a second. How would we talk? You're going to just say that just because I'm next to him, I'm going to talk? This whole time since January when he had his protective order, this whole time with the protective orders, we've exchanged hundreds of times. We've been next to each other hundreds of times.
This is what I do. Maybe this is what you should do. See if you can get somebody to do it. Maybe. Yeah. And just say, here's the deal.
But Vinny, you have connections there. You call.
Here's the deal.
I know, but listen to me. You guys are saying I interfered.
I trust you to.
At 9:47 a.m., I was informed that
Did you have come here at 1 o'clock and got the records?
Yeah.
Listen, please.
You specifically came here.
Why are you guys being so accusatory? I just am asking.
You specifically came here.
I was
at the child had the appointment.
Listen to me, please. I'm asking you. Could you guys imagine being in my shoes for 1 second? Could you just please? I'm asking you to be a human and listen to me. I asked for. Okay, but I asked not to be interrupted. Okay, please, because I just would like you to understand that at 9:47 at 9, I found out that this appointment was at 11:30 at 9:47 a.m. when I called them. I spoke to Vanessa. I spoke to Vanessa.
On this.
I spoke to Vanessa. She said to me that your daughter's appointment's at 11:30. I said, okay.
We heard that part.
I know, but please, I'm trying to explain this to you because you guys are saying I came here to interfere with the father, which is not what it is. I spoke to them at 9:47.
I know that.
They said to me, Vanessa said, and I told her, and I wanted to come. She said, okay. Then she says to me that she calls me back like a few minutes later, and she goes, oh.
Just go in your car.
She calls me back. Well, this is why I wanted you guys both to listen. Because it's like
I can listen. We all both need to listen.
Yeah, and then I told.
We have to.
Okay, no, that's
do.
fine. And like, so I said, like, she calls me back, and so that was when she calls me back at 10:17.
What is she calling you back for?
She called me back at 10:17, and she says to me, "Oh, we just checked with the father, and he says that there's a restraining order, and you can't come here."
That is an order.
I'm telling you, he says that. What she said was, he says that there's. She told them. She said that he told them that there was a restraining order saying I can't be around my daughter. There's no restraining order saying I can't be around my daughter. I told him that. I said, that's ridiculous. What are you talking about? What restraining order? He says, oh, well, this is what he said. I said, okay, that's not true.
Visitations with your daughter, you need a third party.
There's no restraining order saying I can't have contact with my daughter. There's no restraining order.
You don't have custody of her.
So do you think that when somebody is not a custodial parent, it means they can't, it's a no contact order? Is that what you're thinking it is?
What do you, with the daughter or him?
I'm talking about my daughter. I have nothing is saying to me that I can't talk to my daughter. All I'm saying
about your daughter is that you don't have custody. That you, in order to have any visitation with her, there has to be a third party.
Okay, and so what does that mean?
Where's the third party here?
Where's the third party? It says in the presence of a third party. It doesn't even say that that person has to even be 18. It doesn't even say that that person has to have any specifications or anything.
It says a third party.
Okay, so right here, is a doctor not a third party? Like, how is that not complying with those ridiculous things that he literally paid people off to get them to write? So again, she calls me back. She says there's a restraining order against you and your child. He's saying this. I said, that's not true. I've never been served with any restraining order saying I can't be near my daughter. Do you guys have something in front of you saying that? She says, no, we don't have any papers. This is just what the dad said. And I said, well,
in regards to this order, there's only one, with her being the subject and him being the protectee, right?
and then, like I said, she says to me, I don't know, this is just what he said. And I said, okay, well, I'm not sure. Let me find out what's going on. Then I called the Orange Police and I said to them, hey, I'm calling because he's saying to me that there's a restraining order. Maybe if I didn't get served yet, can you tell me and put it in the computer in your
order that you know about already?
The order I know again is not a restraining order saying I can't go near my child. And so he told the doctor there's a restraining order saying I can't go near my child. I called my local PD. I said, can you confirm if there is? They said, no, there's nothing. The only thing there is that one that you already know about, the protective order, that is not about my child. She is not protected on that. So there's nothing that says I can't go near my kid or talk to my kid. There's actually a court order that says I'm allowed to have FaceTimes with her. I'm allowed to speak to her and see her. And okay, so and if you and it says FaceTimes, right? So
it says emails and something else.
No.
I don't have the order right in my hand.
I have it, and I asked to be able to email it to you guys.
I don't need to be able to email it. I would like to see it.
Okay, so look, 531.
This is the order I had in my hand, man.
You have, right, and you said you didn't see about FaceTimes, and I'm showing you where it says that. And so it literally says it right here.
Yeah, but FaceTimes has nothing to do with today.
It's like, I just feel like it's, instead of trying to understand what I'm saying.
We're listening to you.
Okay, but I'm asking.
Isn't today. You're here at a doctor's office.
I just told you I'm allowed to have contact. I just told you I'm allowed to have contact with my child. I'm allowed to see my child. He is not letting me see her. The judge didn't say, you're never going to see your kid again. He is not giving me any opportunities to see her and refusing. And he says to me, I'm never going to let you see her again. It says mother's access may include video calls. He refuses to let me talk to her. He told me...
Yeah, that's something you're going to bring up with the...
I know, but look it. There's a crime in the state of Connecticut called coercion. And it's when somebody has the right to do something and you refuse to let them. Or somebody has the right not to do something and you force them to do it by threatening to press criminal charges, by threatening to do other things. Now, he says to me, if you call my phone... Look it. This is ridiculous. He says to me, if you call my phone again, I'll have you arrested for violating the no contact order.
Okay.
So you think that he could have me arrested for violating the no contact if I call his phone to talk to my child? It says on the protective order, mother can...
You have to talk through the Family Wizard, do you not?
The Family Wizard is a messaging app. And look, it's funny because in the app, in Family Wizard, it was always only all you could do is message. There was no option to call. Yeah. Just the other day, I get a notification now that... they just added a feature now where it allows you to have calls. It allows recorded calls and video calls. However, it says that, see, look, calls are now available. It's like
so you could use
it's like a new thing. No, I can't use it because look, you need to manage consent. And look, Matthew did not consent. He refused to consent. And look what he said to me the other day after he got arrested. Because of the events that happened yesterday, meaning him getting arrested for a felony risk of injury, I've decided to terminate all phone calls and visits until we go back to court in front of a judge. I let him know everything you've been doing to hurt Angelina. Please don't call my phone nor my mother's for any reason. If you call the phone, I'll have you arrested for violating the full no contact order. Okay. But the protective order says the mother is allowed to initiate contact with Matthew for the purpose of contact with their child in accordance with the most recent order. The most recent order says I'm allowed FaceTimes.
All right, let me have your name.
It's Theodora. And so I like to write a statement about what they did here because, again, I called them again after I spoke to Orange Police. And
like I said, this could all be in the report.
No, I want to write a statement. I want to press charge. She hit me with, shoved.
Listen, ma'am, right now we're dealing with the
I called the police.
They don't want you on the property. They don't have to have you on the property.
The first time.
Shutting the door is not a crime.
They slammed the door in my hand. She slammed the door.
Different things.
Okay.
You're jumping around.
Two different people called the police. Two different people called the police.
Okay.
One called Matthew.
Anyone could call the police.
Okay. I called because I said that they hit me with the door and I wanted to press charges.
Okay.
He called saying
they don't want you on the property. They're allowed to shut the door.
Okay, so are you refusing to take my statement about me wanting to press charges?
I'm talking to you about something else.
I want to write a written statement because I called for that reason. He called for saying he wants to have me arrested for violating a protective order, which I didn't violate.
He didn't call the doctor's office, called on you.
Okay, well, I called.
They don't want you on the property.
Okay, well, then why did they tell me to come?
You want to hear the recorded call? Do you want to hear the call where they literally said, okay? Regardless, when they tell you they don't want you on the property, you're not allowed on the property.
So they didn't tell me I wasn't allowed on the property until after they called the police.
Okay.
So now they told me. But prior to that, I called and they said to me, I said.
Like I said, I didn't talk to her. He talked to them and that's what they said. They didn't want you on the property.
Okay, but they confirmed to me 3 times on the.
Can you just stop real quick? You're also going all over the place. You're talking about your ex-boyfriend.
I'm not talking about my ex-boyfriend. I'm saying you're telling to me that I came here, showed up to see my ex. Which is not true.
I didn't say you came here to show up to see your ex.
Okay, I want to write a statement.
We're not writing a statement right now.
I like to write a statement.
Okay, we're not doing that.
Why are you denying me the services?
I just said we're not writing a statement right now.
I want to write one.
Okay. Did I say you could write one right now? No.
When
we're investigating something else.
Okay, so you keep yelling at me and being so hostile to me.
That what you're gonna do.
What do you mean? I asked you. I asked you.
Okay, you're not writing a statement right now. We're investigating.
Okay, so if you're investigating, then
violation of an order.
If you're investigating a possible violation of an order and you're refusing to let me do anything to write a statement about these people, what they did to me,
we can do that after.
Okay, so if you're doing that after, then can you please have enough respect to listen and let me explain and stop cutting me off and stop yelling at me?
Cutting you off. We just let you speak.
Okay, but it's like
something completely different.
Okay, I'm not. I'm explaining to you. I called them. Look, you could even hear the call. Watch. Can I play the recorded call?
I'm not saying I don't believe you.
If you don't, you are though. Okay, then look. How about the call?